All right, welcome to the video, everyone. What you're going to be seeing here is some climbing and tree pruning footage. The trees you see me working on were in addition to a good amount of other work that I've been doing on this client's property, who I've also worked for in the past. I'd already pruned these trees to trim back some of the lower hanging branches to create an arch over the driveway and allow for more clearance for vehicles. But there were a few pieces of larger deadwood that they asked me to remove, and I could have easily used a pole saw, but it's just easier to cut through some of the bigger sized branches with a chainsaw. So I figured I'd climb and film it, which brings me to the topic of the video. There's a lot more aspects to being an arborist and working in the tree care industry than just removing large trees with big equipment. I mean, sure, you could choose to specialize in removals if that's what you prefer and enjoy, but these kinds of smaller jobs also need to get done, even if they may not seem as interesting or action-packed as, say, removing a huge tree with a crane. I actually used to work for a company that did crane work on a regular basis, but being self-employed now, I find myself focusing a lot more on pruning, shrubs, and hedges with some smaller to medium-sized removal work. And I have thought about, maybe eventually expanding and taking on more larger removal projects, but we'll see. But anyways, a lot of the tree content that you see on YouTube and social media is larger tree removal, crane removal, and yeah, of course, it's interesting. But I think it's also highly beneficial to show other aspects of the tree care industry because there's a lot more to it than just taking down trees. There's pruning, plant health care, shrubs and hedges, sales, arborist consultations. The point I'm trying to get across is there's other aspects to it to consider. If you're interested in a career in the tree care industry, or if you are going out on your own and you're kind of trying to figure out what kind of business you want to build, or maybe you're in the beginning stages and you want to get big, you want to be doing these big jobs, but you're just not at that point yet. Maybe you don't have the equipment to get them done efficiently, so you're sticking to smaller stuff, which is perfectly fine. The other part of this too is, and I had talked about this in a previous video, large tree removal might not be for everyone because of the psychological aspect. If you're not comfortable enough or you have too much anxiety climbing and removing bigger trees, then maybe you stick to other things like pruning or smaller removals if you're more comfortable with that. Not to say that you're never going to have any anxiety or nervousness on a job, but what I mean is if you're going to work every day, very anxious and fearful about taking down large trees, well, maybe you need to reevaluate whether what you're doing is working for you or not. Is it taking a toll on your mental health? So that's where looking at other aspects of tree care come into play. Now, from a business financial standpoint, you might think, well, you really need to do large removals to be profitable, but that isn't necessarily the case. Obviously, large removals cost more than pruning a small tree. However, you have to look at the expenses. A $3,000 removal might seem like a lot of money, but for a large operation that has a lot of overhead, equipment, employees, those expenses take up a good chunk of that $3,000. So the job might be worth $3,000, but you're not necessarily actually profiting that much. Now, to a large company like that, a $300, $400, $500 pruning job might not seem like that much, but to a smaller operation that has less overhead, those smaller jobs could be more profitable to you. And you might even find it makes more sense to stick to that smaller, more manageable sized projects that help keep you profitable versus trying to take on a larger removal project that would just simply be better suited towards a larger company with bigger equipment. So that's going to conclude the video. Appreciate you all watching. Appreciate everyone who has recently subscribed to the channel. If you have any specific topics you'd like me to cover in a video or questions for me, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.